review my trading week. All this analysis is called live for free in my free Telegram channel. It's the first link in the description. Let's have a look. So my closed trades so far this week were these trades right here. We're going to go through them one by one. This whole discipline score and stuff with Forex.com is stuff that's so arbitrary and subjective, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to worry about what the actual stats are. So it was a slow but still profitable week, $2,000 in realized P&L, with an open drawdown right now of 600 bucks. So it was a good trading week. There was just a few simple trades last week. We'll touch on the closed ones first, and then we'll touch on the open trades. So let's go down the list one by one. First, there's AUDJPY, which was a long, which was closed for about $800 profit. So we're going to go and look at that AUDJPY trade. We're going to see why I went long. The reason I went long was because price was in an uptrend, and when it had pulled back and started going back up, I bought. So that's the whole reason for the trade. It was a buy during an uptrend after a pullback. There's not much for me to keep on going on about, so I'll just leave it at that. The next trade that I took was USDJPY, and it was a sell, which resulted in a break even. So let's go have a look at USDJPY. So I sold USDJPY as it started coming back down because I thought USDJPY was going to be likely to have a bigger retrace. Now, why did I think this? I thought that since price was in this uptrend here, and these were all the higher lows and higher highs, I thought that since price had made a big higher high, I thought we might have a bigger move down further. So that's why I went short. Price did go into profit. It went, let's say, halfway to the profit target, which was this support zone. But then it started bouncing and going back up. So I made a management decision in that trade to decide to close the trade at around break even, which was a small, it was like a $50 profit. So pretty much break even. And then instead, I've opted to get long on this pair because it looks like the uptrend is still remaining. So you'll see my current position, I'm long, and if price goes up and makes a higher high, then I'll win the trade. And if it comes down further into one of these zones, I will manage it, likely by waiting for bullish price action again and then adding to the losing trade, anticipating that that second outcome might work. I also have more zones to manage this trade with a final invalidation all the way down here. 95% of the time or more, my invalidations and stop losses are not actually hit, and I manage the trade beforehand and allow myself to get out in a profitable or break-even scenario a lot of the time whenever I'm managing trades like this. So that was USDJPY. Euro AUD was a profitable trade for about $500. So when we go to Euro AUD, you can see it was a very simple trade. It was a sell at resistance up here. So price had come into this zone. I sold here at resistance. So right there at the resistance zone. I had a plan to manage it if it went higher up to this previous high. I was going to sell again, thinking that maybe it just had to go up a little bit more and then it finally finds sellers at the high and comes down. So again, the simple reason was a sell at resistance. Whenever it came down, I thought that price might just make a higher low and go back up. So that is why I exited this trade at a profit whenever it came down. So the trade was held for 3 days, so it came down, it kind of started ranging. So what had happened is after I closed that sell, price, instead of going up, price started just going sideways and patching and making little lower lows and lower highs. So now, because of this context, because of the lower lows and lower highs right here, I think price is going to continue down. So that's why I've chosen to get short. I have a target at the previous low over here, and I have a stop loss currently. You can see it's way above this previous resistance zone, and then also this previous high over here. So two birds with one stone. I showed you the closed trade, and then I showed you this trade I'm in now. So yeah, I'll manage the trade at the previous high and maybe even this resistance zone if we can get there. So that was Euro AUD, a sell at resistance, close it in profit, and then I've just added back into my short position again based on the evidence of price action going sideways and failing to go up. I think it's likely to continue down. So USDCAD, this was a very simple trade. It was a sell at resistance. It was a profitable trade for about $1,000. So When we look at USDCAD, you can just see that it was at a resistance zone. So it was this major zone up here. So in the past, prices tried to bounce at this zone as support there and then support here. And then recently, there was this resistance here. So I had actually sold like right in this area, and then it actually went slightly above the zone. I didn't close the trade at a loss because I thought it was still likely to continue. And then what happened is after it went into a little bit of drawdown, it pulled back, tried to retest this area and continue higher, but it failed and instead dwindled back down and then went into profit where it was closed at the profit target or around the profit target. Since that trade, again, so just the sell at resistance, that's the whole analysis. Now, for this trade I'm in right now, I'm in a long because I actually think price is likely to go up. We've fallen down, and now I think that this uptrend, since price has paused here, I think this uptrend is going to send price further up. So I've elected to stay in this long trade. The target for now is at the previous high. What I might do is extend this profit target a little bit further up here. I could make $2,000 instead of $1,000 on that if that occurs. And if not, if it goes down here to these lower price levels, there's two areas I'm considering managing this at. This looks like a reasonable support resistance zone, not the clearest, but it was found as resistance here, support here twice, 3 times. Then it kind of went sideways in here before finding support again. I think it might be enough to just give a little bit of a bounce for a recovery trade, and I can get out of this around break even or a small profit. And then another zone is down here where I can manage to trade at. You'll see my final invalidation is way under here, but again, those stop losses are in place sort of just as an emergency in case there's like a flash crash or a quick spike, and I don't have time to manage the trade based on the price action. Again, most of the time the stops aren't actually hit. So if you're somebody who likes amazing risk reward, just keep in mind it's pretty much like a delusion that you're using to make yourself feel like you are getting into a trade where you have like a higher potential for profit versus what you're losing. All that actually matters is that where you're entering your trade at and where you're closing your trade at. If you look at your planned risk reward and then you look at your actual risk reward once the trades are closed, unless you're just literally entering trades and holding them to stops or targets, which I actually recommend in the beginning because it helps train your experience and intuition, unless you're literally doing that for your whole trading system, risk reward is not something that is as important. Because if you're just setting up your trades with like a 1-to-1 risk reward, or even if it's not 1-to-1, even if it's like less than 1-to-1 or more than 1-to-1, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is you using your experience to manage trades that you take in such a way that the final outcome is likely to be either a profitable scenario or a break-even scenario. You want to try to mitigate having to like lose over and over, and you can do that in terms of risk structure, or you can also use your experience as an edge to do this. A lot of this just requires a lot of experience, and if you have that experience, you can make management decisions like this, and everyone will look at you like you're crazy, but that's okay, because if you have something that works, then you can continue doing it, and you can let everyone else continue losing money. So that's USDCAD. It was a sell at resistance, and now I'm long. Final trade was GBPUSD. This trade was closed around break even for a $100 loss. On GBPUSD, you can see that price appeared to be in a downtrend at the time that I entered it. So I'm not sure. Some people might call this a range, and I wouldn't protest that. I thought price was likely to go down, so I sold. So what had happened is I sold right here in this area. Price made a lower low. It pulled back. It was a break and retest of the support resistance level. It was rejecting. Everything looked good. So I sold in this region up here. Price did go make a lower low based on the recent candles, and it almost went to that previous low. I thought price was going to go much lower, like further, like down into here and break that area, but it didn't. It went into profit almost to the target, and then it just came back, and then came back to the entry. So what I thought is like, okay, if price was going to go down, this move probably would have sent price further down. It stopped there, came back, tried to go lower, then it stopped there. Then it came back and tried to go lower again and quickly stopped there. So for all those reasons, I elected to close this GBPUSD trade around break even because I just didn't think it was likely to continue into profit. So that's why I closed GBPUSD. So overall in closed trades, again, it was a profitable week. It was about 2K. And then in open trades, I'm in like a drawdown that's maybe like 1/3 of that. So $661. So let's have a look at my open trades right now. So I was trying to show my trading history here in Forex.com, but it doesn't actually show your history. It's kind of weird, which is why I had to go to the actual website to do that. So positions, here's the positions I'm in. I'm in a USDCAD long, so I've already showed that. It's an uptrend, it's a pullback, I've bought. I'm in an AUDUSD short. So I think the AUDUSD is in a downtrend. And since I think it's in a downtrend, albeit kind of a rangy downtrend, but still lower lows and lower highs, I've sold AUDUSD because price is at a resistance zone and the context of it being in a downtrend. My target right now is at the previous low, but if we get quick candles going into profit, I might extend that target so I could potentially make more profit. And then if price does not go into profit and comes up here to this next resistance zone, I will simply sell again if there's rejection. My position average will come up halfway between the two positions if I use the same position size. And then if we bounce there, it'll allow me to get out at either a break even or a small profit. So even if I'm wrong, the most likely case of this outcome of trades, if I'm wrong on this entry, is that I come out in roughly like a break even or a small profit. So that is the AUDUSD trade. So we've touched on USDCAD, AUDUSD, Euro AUD. So I'm currently short on this. I've already explained this as I was going through my trade recaps. So Euro AUD is explained. USDJPY, I've explained this as well. It was a buy within an uptrend. Euro GBP, I'm short on this. So let's talk about this one. I'm short on this simply because price is at a resistance zone. And it's sort of, you can kind of call it a range-based trade. I think the context is that there's an overall downtrend. However, since it ranges so much, it's kind of hard to, you know, sit inside the illusion that it's actually going to continue the downtrend. However, the main reason was just because it was at a resistance zone. You'll see I have alerts clustered up here. I think that if this first trade doesn't work out, kind of like AUDUSD, it could go further up. And then at these next two areas, I can just add some sell positions. And then if it starts turning back around, I can get out at maybe like a break even or even a small profit, depending on the context. If this drops, which it does like half the time, 50% of the time, then I'll make a profit. And then if it starts moving quickly to the profit target, sometimes I'll extend the profit target and just kind of watch the price action to try to like get a good chunk of the move before it starts turning around. Then I'll liquidate. So my profits on these types of trades can usually be anywhere from like 1K to 2K. And yeah, that's that. So that is Euro GBP, and the last one is GBP AUD. I'm long on this one. This is probably my worst performing trade last week. However, it's still not going that bad, I guess. It's a very small drawdown. What I think is likely to happen now is for price to come lower into the support zone. However, it could go up at any moment. I would call this being in a pretty clear uptrend, albeit now we're sort of like struggling to continue up at the same aggressive pace we were before, but we're still making higher highs and higher lows. So you'll see I have my target just set at the previous highs. I had bought on a pullback right here. And since I bought, price tried to go up, but then it fell, made a lower low, and now it's going sideways. Again, I'm not convinced that this is going to go up from right here. I'm convinced that first price is going to go in the support zone where I'll be adding. And if I add right there, that'll bring my position average down to pretty much where the current market price is, right here. And then if price does bounce right there at this really clear support zone and come up right there, I can just exit this position at around a net break even. And then I'll just move on, you know, to the next trade. If it does break this zone, there's going to be more management that needs to take place. So for instance, if it does break and continue even further below this zone after I add, what I will likely do is liquidate a portion of my position right there and then wait for price to get to an area where it starts to look like it's going to bounce again. I don't have an alert set here yet because I don't think this is likely to happen. However, if we break this zone, I will set an alert right here. In fact, I'll set the alert right so I can show you where it will be at. So that'll be if price comes all the way down into these lows. It'll give me like kind of a last chance, like a third chance to manage it. So then if I add down there, my position average will go from there down to probably like right here. I might add in using a little bit of a multiplier in terms of volume. So instead of just adding one standard lot, I might add, you know, one standard lot here at this next zone, but maybe two standard lots down here with an inval right below. So if I lose, that might knock out like 5-6K. However, if I win, which is very likely to happen either with this position right now, or the second position, or the third position. I'm likely to either win or break even. There's a high percentage chance of that happening based on the context and the planning of the risk structure in this trade. But if I lose, it'll just knock out a couple trades of profit. And that's okay, because most of the time, whenever I manage trades like this, it doesn't result in a losing outcome. It results in either a profitable outcome or a break-even outcome. So those are all the trades that I'm in. Again, I share all of this analysis in my free Telegram channel, and then I also do recaps in there of trades and what happened and how they're doing. You can see I just share my terminal and everything. I do everything in real time. I actually call all my trades in the close friends group. So all of my exact trades, like for instance, like whenever I enter and exit, this is a trade I closed yesterday, which was Friday. I put I'm closing right here. This was that trade I told you about on AJ where I just bought during the uptrend. I show everything. I show my P&L, all the losing streaks and all the win streaks and everything that I go through as a trader, all the ups and downs. I show here in the close friends group. And what's really cool is you can also ask me anything here. There's a server, or there's a channel within the server called Ask Nick Anything. And at any time you can ask me anything, any questions you have about your own trading or about my trading or about, what to do or how to approach a certain situation, and I can help you. We currently have 562 members here in the close friends group right now. So if you're interested in joining the close friends group, hit the second link in the description of this video. It'll take you to my website. And once you're on my website, it is this option right here, the first option, MFX Close Friends. There's a whole page where you can see how it works. And this is everything. So I hope that me sharing my analysis here over the past 6 years in my free Telegram channel, and then in Discord, I've had the close friends group for about 2 years now, where it's like been really active, and I actively do live sessions every day, answer people's questions, etc. I hope all of this is helpful to you. I've structured the way that I do things here at Mission FX in such a way where you can still learn trading from me for absolutely free. But if you just want the extra help, and if you want the community, and if you want to be able to follow my exact trades live and get help from me and ask me questions, that's the only thing I really charge for at this point. Everything else, all my content is free. The way that I trade, I teach it for free here on my YouTube channel. Showing my actual trades and everything, I do all of that. And I've done all of that for a little over 6 years. So with that being said, I hope this helps. If you liked this video, sweet. See you in the next one.